Warsh takes over as Fed chair when Powell's term as its leader ends Friday. Warsh will be in charge at the next meeting of the Federal Open Market Committee, which sets U.S. monetary policy on June 16th and 17th. Gernal Scott, Fox News.
In addition to the retail sales report this morning, we also got an unemployment update today. First-time claims increased about 6% last week to 211,000. The number of people still collecting jobless benefits also rose to 1.78 million. A hockey coach has just lost his job. The Edmonton Oilers fired Chris Knobloch after a first-round playoff exit. He led the Oilers to the NHL Stanley Cup final the last two seasons, but Edmonton lost both to Florida. Last night, there was overtime on ice. That was a game and series-winning goal for Colorado on TNT, beating Minnesota 4-3, advancing the Avalanche to the NHL Western Conference Final. I'm Dave Anthony, and this is Fox News.
Epic parties start at Staples. Now you can grab Party City balloons, decorations, and tableware, plus matching custom invites, banners, and more right at Staples. That was easy.
Your 710 KURV, AccuWeather forecast, partly sunny, breezy, and hot this afternoon. Highs in the 90s to near triple digits. South-southeast winds at 8 to 16 miles an hour. Mainly clear and warm tonight. Lows only into the mid-70s, with those south-southeast winds still at 10 to 20 miles an hour. Breezy for us Friday, variably cloudy. Highs in the low to mid-90s. Breezy Saturday with more clouds than sun. Highs again in the low to mid-90s. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Jason Caterina on the Valley's official weather station, 710 KURV.
You've probably heard all those ads for life insurance. Just a few dollars a day, apply online in minutes, no medical exam. Simple, easy, and cheap, right? Now you're thinking, maybe I should get a quote. Well, smart thinking. Everyone should have life insurance. But here's what they don't tell you. Those few dollars a day rates, they're for young people in perfect health. That's why everyone calls Big Lou the 50 to 60-year-old not-so-perfect candidate, like you. You take prescription meds, and you're overweight. Winner, winner, fried chicken dinner. Well, Big Lou works with life insurance companies that want people like you, with no surprises after you apply. In fact, if you're a 50-year-old guy with a few health glitches, Lou could probably find you $1 million of term life coverage for about $200 a month. So, yeah, you need life insurance. But unless you're young and healthy, you gotta call Big Lou, because he's like you, older, heavier, and on meds, too. Get a quote right now at 800-511-3535, 800-511-3535, or biglou.com.
The 710 KURV People Poll is brought to you by Total Imaging Solutions, the home of copiers. Fixed within 4 hours. Broadcasting from the Valley's commercial and fleet headquarters studio at PayneAutoGroup.com. You're listening to News Talk 710 KURV. From the Radio United Broadcast Center, this is the Sergio Show. Talking about the news headlines and topics that affect you. And now, the Sergio Show with Sergio Sanchez.
From the land of liberty and opportunity, and now more than ever, prosperity. It's the RGV of Texas. What an amazing time to be living and working and getting educated in South Texas. This is the Sergio Show on News Talk 710 KURV, as you can tell by the audio if you're tuning in on the radio or online. Yeah, we're on the road. We're at the real beautiful, real pretty Mission Event Center or Convention Center in Mission here on Sherry Road. The governor's office is here, and Governor Greg Abbott's Governor's Small Business Economic Summit taking place today. They started last hour, 8 o'clock. They'll be here at 2 p.m. Lots of back and forth and brainstorming, great seminars, lots of small business owners taking in information that they need for their pocketbook, for managing their books, for managing their inventory, looking at prospects, and seize the opportunity of all the low-hanging fruit that we have in this rapidly growing economy. We are conducting this broadcast today in Mission appropriately enough, and I'm grateful that we're here because of the Mission Economic Development Office. Teclo Garcia, my first guest, so we're kicking off with him. We have Joaquin Spammer, local industrialist, scheduled for 10 o'clock. He'll be joining us for an update on Rioplex, the economic development, the economic recruitment effort in the private sector, coming up at 10 o'clock. They're also responsible for having us here today. So let's start with Teclo, get right to it, because usually I always run out of time, and we just when the conversation gets real interesting. Thanks for having us over, Teclo.
Yes,
Good to
of
see you
course.
again, brother. Yeah.
Just to make a quick little correction for you. So you said today you're broadcasting from Mission, but you broadcast from Mission
Well,
every
that's
day,
That's
right?
true. 710 KURV, Radio United. Our HQ is Mission, Texas. Thank you. Yeah.
Yes.
Otherwise, the Chamber of Commerce would have called me later. Hey, you need to remember
Right,
you
yeah.
promote us all the time. Well, let's start. Let me start with what you're doing today. So you're participating in the panel about an hour and a half from now. So what do you bring to the small business folks that are here?
In this case, they've asked me to concentrate on workforce development, skills development, and talking to some experts in the field. We have someone from Workforce Solutions here, the great John Hershey, that's going to be in our panel. Also, we have one of the senior vice presidents from Juniors to talk about from a private sector employer, what it's like and what they need to look for. There's a lot of challenges for mid-size and smaller businesses in terms of hiring and skills development because AI is hitting everybody, and they have to figure out how they can retain, upskill, and hire new folks given what's at hand in terms of inventory control, computers, how they check people out, delivery, all that kind of stuff, the faces. And I'm really, really happy that Juniors has decided to come on the panel. And so, we also have someone from the state office on the panel as well. So it's just going to be a really good discussion from different points of view, to talk about small businesses and workforce development.
I love Junior Supermarket.
Love Juniors.
Best hot kitchen.
I met Junior.
The actual?
Yes. Yeah, he came by the seed building.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, how old is Junior?
Junior is in his late 70s.
Mira nomás.
Yeah. He came by, said hello to us, and they opened up an office in the seed building, which is a kind of a satellite office for them because they handle a lot of their Western Hidalgo County stores from this office that we have here in Mission. Super glad to have him, but I'm so glad I can say I know Junior.
I know a lot of people in business tuning in. They know what the SEED office is. But again, the acronym SEED, what is it? And it might benefit some folks that are starting up a business to have an office.
Sure. The SEED is the Center for Economic Development, or Education and Economic Development. And that's the acronym. Some people, we're a 55,000 square foot building that used to be the old Kmart there on Business 83 and Bryan Road. Because we're Mission and we're in the valley, some people say, "Oh, that's over there by El Pato, right?" Yes, it's by the El Pato. Yeah, yes. We're 10 times as big as the El Pato. If that helps you, sure, we're right there. But inside we have the EDC headquarters, but we also have about 24 suites for small businesses and nonprofits that pay rent to us to operate out of the seed, to have control or access to the whole building. We have a Jitters coffee shop inside the building, and we have a whole slew of businesses from startups to a social media marketing firm to a two-person real estate office. We're really focused on having startups and small businesses locate there. It's not for everybody, and we really try to curate who's in the building. Do they fit the mission? No pun intended. And are they someone that we want to deal with and incubate? It's really an incubator, right? Unfortunately, like 5x5 was there 10 years, and they their business life cycle at the seed ended. They're still going to brew beer and sell it to outlets. They have distribution contracts. But now we have that space open, and we have Jitters in there that I mentioned, and we have several other businesses that are there, at starting as startups and trying to grow.
You have 25 pods or offices.
Yes.
Are you half full, 75% full? How many more businesses?
We are about 80% full. We only have a couple of offices open, and then we have we sell memberships. It's just like a gym would. And so you can use our facility. We have a lot of common spaces and meeting rooms. So if you pay $100 a month, you can use the facility and you get a key fob. You can enter or leave as you like 24/7.
Yeah, and you have a scheduler that helps out to make sure.
Oh,
okay,
yes,
at this
yes.
hour, it's this insurance company.
Right.
At this hour, it's the university or some other school and things like
right.
that. So,
In there, in addition to the small businesses that we have, UTRGV has an office in there. South Texas College has an office in there. Wayland Baptist, which has been doing distance learning and online classes for 20 years or more, they have an office in there as well. So we have a lot of different education offerings in addition to the small businesses. Teach for America has their regional headquarters there.
There we go.
IDEA has an office in there, and they use it a lot.
Yeah.
They have a lot of folks in there, and including juniors and some other companies.
Cyclo Garcia with the Economic Development Office in Mission. He is one of our sponsors. The reason that we're broadcasting today from the Mission Event Center at the Governor's Small Business Economic Summit, he's describing the Seed Office, which is an old Kmart retrofit, modern state-of-the-art Wi-Fi, real pretty meeting rooms. We have several companies that are in there. It's an incubator for business, and I've been there, used it several times. Folks that need to meet, because if we don't meet in the conference rooms or the meeting rooms, the area in the center is so vast, it's huge, and we have Wi-Fi connection and a little private room as well.
And business groups, and I say business groups because it's really not open to social groups or band parents or the football club. But if you're a business group and you want a place to meet, you don't have to have a membership. You'll just pay the daily rate for a meeting room. We have meeting rooms that range from 12 people for a conference room to 50 for a bigger classroom, or even up to 65 in our auditorium classroom. So yeah, we host a lot of meetings that our law enforcement friends use, and we donate the space to them. But in fact, we had Texas Regional Bank, a good partner of ours, with our good friends Alex Mead and those guys. They had a corporate meeting in there yesterday.
Speaking of Alex Mead, one of our commissioners for Department of Transportation,
yes,
I know that you're participating in some of their committees and planning. So I haven't asked you about that in months. I apologize. So anything new worth reporting?
Well, there's always something new, and I'm on the two different committees: the Board of Trade Advisory Committee and the statewide Freight Advisory Committee. And we meet on a quarterly basis. Right now, actually, there's two things. The Freight Committee, working with TxDOT staff, is developing a statewide freight plan, which will be used as a guide to develop freight corridors and prioritize funding for freight throughout the whole state. So we're working on that right now with our really crack TxDOT staff. I can't say enough about them. They do great work, and so we're working with them on that. Simultaneously, the Texas-Mexico border transportation master plan is being developed, and that's getting close to, at the end of the year, we should have a final document to submit to the TxDOT Commission. And that plan, it was done 5 years ago, so it's a 5-year update, is essentially the document that coordinates travel priorities along the border from Brownsville to El Paso, and Mexico is a part of this. The 5 Mexico states that, or is it Tamaulipas, Nuevo León, Coahuila, Chihuahua, I think it's 4 Mexico states, they also participate in this, because it does us no good to have bridges to nowhere. If we want to build a bridge somewhere, well, Mexico has to align with that, and vice versa. If they want to build across, we have to line up. And the highways that distribute traffic from either side after that crossing, those things are, and rail, and there's a lot of things to think about. And so we're working as a committee with the TxDOT staff to get this update going and finished by the end of the year.
It's a good thing that you spur a conversation on that. But I had a conversation with Pedro Pete Alvarez over TxDOT. We'll be sharing that tomorrow. Every Pete is a Pete. Pete Sepulveda, Pete Hexa. And the reason I called him was that specifically was that master plan, Texas, Mexico.
Important document, man.
And we mentioned this because I know that we got some folks in logistics, folks that have, that refrigeration warehousing. They're in maquila operations.
Overweight corridors that need to be.
So
all that.
Those 18-wheelers.
Very important.
We need your input. You need to have a say into this.
And I ask for input anytime I come across a logistics person or a freight person. I mean, I'm the representative for this. I'm not the only representative. There's several other people. I think Luis Basan from the Far Bridge is on these committees, and Rolando Ortiz from the Killam Development, and several others, including Pete. Jerry Schrebel from IBC and others are on these committees, and they provide input. But certainly, if someone wants to reach out to me, I'm over there by El Pato, and they can
on Business 83 in Mission.
On Business 83,
Right.
and they can come and talk to me about what concerns, and I'm happy to relay that at the meetings and to the TxDOT staff and Commissioner Meade and the other ones. Yeah.
What's the main thoroughfare that we're at? It's Bryan, right?
Bryan
Road.
Yeah. Funny you mentioned that. Of course, back in the day, there was a lot of agriculture and farms and stuff. I found out recently that, and being that your audience is my age and a little bit older, they would know this name. Sissy Spacek spent a lot of her summers growing up in Mission.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm today old. Like what? Just running the orange fields and eating oranges and grapefruit?
Her grandparents had land on the edge of town, and she would get sent down by her parents. Hey, go spend the summer, with your grandparents, and then she stayed here long enough, even through school, and then she ended up moving to New York.
That's a sweet gold nugget of Valley trivia. I bet you I'm always looking for little tidbits like that. Because every time I speak with Frank over at the Museum of South Texas History.
Oh, yeah, sure.
I'm sorry, Francisco Guajardo. It's like he knows everything, right? Yeah. I bet you he doesn't know that Sissy Spacek.
Yeah, I mean,
when I
found it fascinating.
In the Valley.
She's a Texan, obviously, but for her to spend time down here, I mean, that's
I love Frank. He says he rattles off all sorts of information, like really cool. And back when the Spaniards and the land grants, say, yeah, but I bet you didn't know that Sissy Spacek would spend her summers here. He'll probably look at me and go like, who? Ways?
Yeah, every Valley city has their own kind of stories like that, and Mission has, Tom. Everybody knows Tom Landry and Lloyd Benson and that kind of thing. But Sissy Spacek, was one of those other persons that had a lot of time in Mission.
Teclo Garcia is the chief at economic development for the city of Mission. Let's go pay some bills, Freddie. Let's go back to our HQ, the mothership right down the street here in Mission, Texas. We're broadcasting today from the governor's Small Business Economic Summit with the president, the director of Economic Development for Mission, Teclo Garcia. He'll be participating in an hour with other folks from Workforce Solutions, also small business. When we come back, the nerd stuff that I know some of y'all running around town love, all the sales numbers, retail numbers, the employment numbers, construction numbers. We'll visit that. And also the recent, the feathers, because there's multiple feathers in the cap for Mission, like some solid manufacturing, good prospects on the way as well. This is the Sergio Show on Newstalk 710 KQRV, made possible this hour by Chamberlain Roofing and Waterproofing.
Coming up after the Sergio Show, stay tuned for the Dana Les Show starting at 11, followed by the Brian Kilmeade Show at 2 on News Talk 710 KURV and on the Radio Potomac app.
710 KURV, the pulse of Valley Business, live this Thursday during the Sergio Show, 9 to 11 a.m. from the Mission Event Center, the Governor's Small Business Summit. We will hear from our Mission Economic Development Office and Rioplex Industry Recruitment. The event providing a variety of sessions with key insights on critical business topics for small businesses in our region. Broadcast made possible by the Mission Economic Development Corporation and Rioplex Industry Recruitment. The true meaning of caring is feeling and showing concern, compassion, and kindness for others. It's been said, there is no exercise better for the heart than reaching down and lifting people up. At McCaleb Funeral Home, it's what drives us.
Hi, I am Carla McCaleb. Along with my husband Mark and our caring staff, we know we are in the healing business. because we hear it from families we serve. Please read our reviews about our life celebrations and fair and transparent prices for unmatched service, and how we lift people up with our healing care and compassion, celebrating lives since 1963.
The Valley's only life celebration home. To learn more about the choices you can make now so a future funeral becomes more of a celebration of life, call Carla at 956-650-2841, 956-650-2841, or visit their website, McCalebFuneralHome.com.
Covering the Valley and the entire world on the World Wide Web. Log on, KURV.com. News Talk 710 KURV.
25-4 Arena. In the house, the Sergio Show on News Talk 710 KURV. We're at the Mission Special Event Center. Gorgeous facility, convention center for admission. The governor's office is here. The governor's Small Business Economic Summit taking place till 2 p.m. today. Teclo Garcia is the director of economic development for our city of Mission. My guest right now and one of our supporters. The reason we're here today. Also, a big thank you to Rioplex, the industry recruitment effort. Rioplex. Our friend Joaquin Spammer should be joining us at 10 o'clock for a conversation. Also had a chance to catch up with Dan, I call him Dan the Man Silva, who had deep roots in mission and economic development efforts for many years. Yes. I think he said it was over a decade. Did you work with him at one time when he was here? 10, 13 years, something like that?
I did work with Daniel. He started out, I think right out of college, and he worked for, you remember the great Pat Townsend?
Yes.
Worked under Pat for a while, and then he worked with Alex Mead, and then he headed up the organization before he took over the partnership.
Okay. Yeah, he was at the partnership. Went to Votech, went to teach for a while.
That's right.
And got a perspective on the education side. Education side. And just try to fit with all these jobs coming to the area.
And you remember Pat Townsend?
Yeah, I do.
Well, Pat was one of the few folks in the Valley, maybe in the state of Texas, that had the Triple Crown working for him. While he was in Mission, he was the EDC director for some time. He was also the city manager.
Yeah, I remember
and then
that.
he was also the mayor all at different times.
I don't remember that mayor.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. Yeah, the great Pat Townsend. Yeah, the great. Yeah, and we stand on his shoulders.
We do. He did a great job.
So many. Yeah. Partnership like Bill Summers.
Oh, yeah.
The visionary Bill Summers.
Yep.
And now we see the reality. All this. The vision of so many becoming a reality now. We're just trying to keep up, make sure that we fill all those jobs. And speaking of jobs, employment numbers, job creation, sales, all the nerd stuff that I promised earlier. What you got for us today?
For all the nerds.
Yeah.
There's a lot of them.
Yeah. Which, by the way, that guy, I forget what he was called in the Revenge of the Nerds. Nerd! Remember that football player?
Oh, yeah.
Nerds, get those nerds!
Yeah, was it John Matusak?
Yeah, he died. Yes, he passed away yesterday, 71. Anyway, back to the nerd numbers.
Yes, so some of the things that Mission's experiencing right now is really really heartening for us. For the most part, this fiscal year, October to now, our retail sales numbers, we were maintaining the same as last year. And last year we grew a bunch to get to that point. So we didn't think we were going to hit, 5 or 10% growth here in Mission. But this last couple of months, we've really taken an uptick. Now you can't, announce a trend over 2 months, right? Or you can't create that, but that's really good news for us. We're up, this past month, I think we were up 4% over last year, which is good. And we still our aim this year is to be at $31 million in terms of retail sales tax rebates that you get from the state. You're 2% of the retail sales. Citywide, I think our retail activity is going to be closer to $2 billion. We'll see about that. Conversely, you look at the city of McAllen, which only has about 60,000 people more than Mission. However, since they're a retail center and they have La Plaza Mall and some other power centers that are really, really performing well, they this past year, McAllen was at a $100 million sales tax rebate.
Yeah.
And I think this year they'll exceed that. But we're trying to do our part here and provide more a broader tax base for Mission on the retail side. We're working on a few restaurants. We're going to announce, and again, some of these larger cities like, McAllen or Corpus Christi or whatever, the big ones like San Antonio, they get a new restaurant. It doesn't move the needle. It doesn't cause a lot of excitement. But for Mission, it does, right? We're not in that large market. I'll give you an example. Much to Tony Farina's surprise, there is a Mission. There's an Olive Garden in Mission, and when it opened up, people were excited. Even when we announced it, I had a gentleman call me and said, "Hey, when's the Olive Garden open?" And I said, "Well, we just announced it. It's going to come in about 7-8 months or a year when they finish construction." He said, "Yeah, but my wife wants to go now." I said, "Well, take her to the one in McAllen. I mean, there's two Olive Garden." No. It has to be in Mission. So people get excited about the brands, and we're working on some of those. I hope we have some announcements. Chipotle is opening up in Mission here in a couple of weeks. We have Don Pepe's restaurant from the Hassel family. They're opening up a big restaurant on Sherry Road in Mission. And we've got some other things coming in that we're working on. We can't talk about it just yet, but we're getting close on several of those things. And that's just on the retail side.
Yeah, you can tell that Tony and I have discovered the Mission, Texas Olive Garden. Yeah, we've been hitting those breadsticks a little too hard. Feathers in the cap for Mission Economic Development, aluminum, the manufacturer, other big ones as well. You get call centers as well. So real quick, tell me about the
Century Recycling that is out of Mexico, out of Guadalajara in Mexico City. They're still moving forward on their plans. We continue to communicate with them on a regular basis to figure out when we're going to have a groundbreaking. They wanted to do it in April, but they haven't finished some of the design and they're ordering some equipment. So their owners and their ownership group couldn't make it. But we're going to have a groundbreaking soon for that. It's a $50 million, about 100 employee facility.
Specialized training? Is that going to require
some
new curriculum?
They're going to do a lot of their training on their own, but we've already reached out to South Texas College to see how we can work together with them to provide the training. These are going to be good paying jobs. These are going to be highly technical jobs. And this factory is going to be very automated. So maybe a little bit fewer jobs, but higher pay and more technical skill will be required.
Yeah, for the ones who can manage that machinery.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, you're telling me about that, and it just dawned on me. I grew up or came to the Valley at a time when, and you recall how your tios or a primo, somebody, what they did was collect aluminum cans all day long, right? To cash them in. We've gone from that to now aluminum, metal, recycling, major multi-million-dollar manufacturer recycling.
I mean, they're meeting a need. I mean, there's car manufacturers are using more aluminum more than ever, and their vehicles make them lighter, more fuel efficient. And one of the things about aluminum is, and I kind of really didn't think about this until the ownership group kind of made me aware, is they keep saying, "Hey, aluminum's the only metal that can be recycled forever. It can be recycled over and over and over," and that's what they do. So their customers' base is in the U.S. and their sourcing now is also in the U.S. Their Mexican facilities will continue to serve Mexico and Latin America, and this facility will primarily serve the U.S. and Europe.
It's good to hear, by the way, on the sales side that the numbers are north of inflation. That's one thing that drives the numbers, inflation. But the Mission numbers, like the McAllen numbers, like everybody else, their sales numbers, for the most part, where it counts, where the major centers are well north of the inflation rate, which was 3.3 last month, 3.8 now on the annual basis. But got to keep those numbers north of there. More shopping.
Yeah, and you can't have more shopping if you don't have more jobs. People got to put money in people's pocket. If we just kept opening new restaurants, that doesn't bring a lot of new money into the economy, right? It's just, instead of going to Chili's, now I'm going to go to the new restaurant. I'm making a choice with the same dollars that I have. We have to create more dollars with new jobs and new payrolls in Mission, not just in Mission. We're in a regional economy, and people in Mission eat in McAllen, and people in McAllen shop in Mission, and vice versa. So we need to be cognizant of that. But either way you look at it, we need to create new jobs, tier 1 jobs, good paying jobs, whether they be government, and in this case, manufacturing. We really, we spend a lot of time on that at DDC.
It's good to see those tier 1 and high tech jobs coming to the area. And since we're all shoulder to shoulder around here, I mean, whatever's happening in McAllen or Edinburgh, Soho, Vallejo, Brownsville down the street, the port, all that, those jobs are exponentially just ballooning, creating more. Because
that's right.
You need suppliers for that, and I'm looking forward to hearing some great things here for
it. And I'm going to, give a shout out to our friends in McAllen that operate the bridge that's located in Mission. That partnership has been very fruitful. In addition to that, even though we do compete, I mean, Luis and FAR continue to expand the bridge there, and pretty soon they're going to have it open. All the new lanes will be open, and they'll be the only ag crossing bridge in Hidalgo County. So we have agricultural warehouses and logistics centers in Mission, and with the new loop, they'll use that bridge to get here. So this is all interrelated, interactive economy, and so we're glad to be part of it.
I know I'm way over time here.
Sorry.
But that's okay. Because I had it on Salduas on my list, and I'm glad you mentioned, but still waiting, right?
Yeah, I don't have an update on Salduas, but we look forward to cargo crossing soon.
Yes, sir. Sergio Garcia with the Mission Economic Development Office. One of 2 reasons we're here today. Thank you for the update.
Yeah. I want to, real quick, let me just thank the governor's office for being here and putting this on with the Greater Mission Chamber and ourselves. And so we're super glad to have them. Adriana Cruz, that heads up that Office of Economic Development and Tourism, and of course the governor, and having Texas the #1 state for business 11 years in a row. They're doing a great job up there, and we're riding their coattails in a way.
It's quite the tour. They do something monthly, which, by the way, since we have radio stations in Laredo, Laredo is next June 11th, I believe, at the Texas A&M, the university campus they have over there. So
Texas A&M.
Yeah. Thank you, brother.
Yeah.
All right.
Of course. Thank you.
Sergio Garcia.
Appreciate it.
Economic Development for our city of Mission. This is the Sergio Show on Newstalk 710 KURV. We're on the road in Mission at the Special Events Center. We are with the governor's office, the governor's Small Business Economic Summit. Are you in the market for a new Toyota or pre-owned Toyota? Look no further than Toyota of Far. They have extensive selection of Toyota cars and Toyota trucks and Toyota SUVs, along with exceptional customer service every step of the way. Number to call, 956-815-2285. You hungry right now? How about some mouth-watering, great tasting, great smelling, beautiful enchiladas and a fajita taco and rice and beans? ElPato.com is the website for you to order online right now, or phone it in like I do. For a limited time, check out the new special, 2 chicken or cheese enchiladas. Oh, that yellow cheese is divine at El Pato. Where do they find that yellow cheese? So those 2 enchiladas, 1 big fat fajita taco, the fajita pato, the rice of your choice, refried. I love the refried beans from El Pato. The charro beans are just as good. Mexican rice and the drink, an amazing $9.99. Limited time. That's a lot of food at El Pato. Don't forget the daily specials at $6.49. Could be carne guisada, chicken guisado, taquitos mexicanos, and so on and so forth. Every day, all day long. And at El Pato, they have breakfast all day. You want some potato, egg, bacon, bean, or chorizo and egg with potato and cheese? Patos for dinner? Yeah. Stop by El Pato.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment? That's a lie. Most timeshares can be bought online for $1. To find out what your timeshare is worth and to cancel it, call us today and we'll send you our timeshare exit kit free with all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley for your free exit info guide. 800-885-3333. That's 800-885-3333.
You've probably heard all those ads for life insurance. Just a few dollars a day, apply online in minutes, no medical exam. Simple, easy, and cheap, right? Now you're thinking, maybe I should get a quote. Well, smart thinking. Everyone should have life insurance. But here's what they don't tell you. Those few dollars a day rates, they're for young people in perfect health. That's why everyone calls Big Lou the 50 to 60-year-old not-so-perfect candidate, like you. You take prescription meds and you're overweight. Winner, winner, fried chicken dinner. Well, Big Lou works with life insurance companies that want people like you with no surprises after you apply. In fact, if you're a 50-year-old guy with a few health glitches, Lou could probably find you $1 million of term life coverage for about $200 a month. So, yeah, you need life insurance. But unless you're young and healthy, you got to call Big Lou because he's like you, older, heavier, and on meds, too. Get a quote right now at 800-511-3535, 800-511-3535, or biglou.com.
Summer starts here at Toyota Far. Time to pack up and hit the road. Drive a new Tacoma from $93 a month, Tundra for $179, Camry for $124, or a RAV4 for $229 a month. Your next adventure starts at 1625 West Interstate 2 in Far. Online at toyotafar.com or call 815-2285. That's 815-2285.
Toyota Far, somos buena gente.
The Crohn's and Colitis Foundation has led inflammatory bowel disease research and care for over 50 years. Learn more at crohnscolitisfoundation.org.
Fox News, I'm CJ Papa. President Trump says he wants Chinese President Xi to come to the U.S.
It is my honor to extend an invitation to you and Madam Peng to visit us at the White House this September 24th, and we look forward to it.
He also offered this at a state dinner.
I'd now like to raise a glass and propose a toast to the rich and enduring ties between the American and Chinese people.
But the Chinese contend Taiwan can damage the relationship with the U.S.
Taiwan independence and cross-strait peace are as irreconcilable as fire and water. The U.S. side must exercise extra caution in handling the Taiwan question.
Fox's Jackie Heinrich with the president in Beijing. The S&P 500, NASDAQ hitting all-time intraday highs this morning, led by technology, putting both on pace for back-to-back record closes. America's listening to Fox News.
Your 710 KURV Yankee weather forecast. Partly sunny, breezy, and hot this afternoon. Highs in the 90s to near triple digits. South-southeast winds at 8 to 16 miles an hour. Mainly clear and warm tonight. Lows only into the mid-70s, with those south-southeast winds still at 10 to 20 miles an hour. Breezy for us Friday, variably cloudy. Highs in the low to mid-90s. Breezy Saturday with more clouds than sun. Highs again in the low to mid-90s. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Jason Caterina on the Valley's official weather station, 710 KURV.
Broadcasting from the Valley's commercial and fleet headquarters studio at PayneAutoGroup.com. You're listening to News Talk 710 KURV. The Sergio Show with Sergio Sanchez. Rapid fire headlines.
Live from the Mission Event Center, our convention center in our city of Mission, Texas. This is the Sergio News Talk 710 KURV. We're broadcasting here with the Governor's Small Business Economic Summit. Some other business news of the morning. First-time unemployment claims rose a bit more than expected for the first week of May. The prices of beef at the grocery store remain high, and folks who are looking at the industry say that there are two things that are driving this. One is that cattle herds are at the smallest size in 75 years.
We have some drought conditions, and cattle rely on pastures.
That is Texas A&M economist David Anderson says that with that, the smaller herds, it's hard to produce more inventory to bring the price down. And speaking of cattle, make sure that the audio is strong enough here on the here it is. Texas bracing for that new world screwworm infestation, currently working its way through Mexico, headed to the U.S.
The parasitic flies got the name screwworms from the way their larvae burrow into animals' flesh. Latest stats show they result in 75% fawn mortality, and they're now within 80 miles of the Texas border, with reports from Nuevo Leon and Tamaulipas.
Texas Parks and Wildlife is prepared to respond to an infestation with current resources for a limited period.
David Yaskowitz is the executive director of Texas Parks and Wildlife. He says they need more field and support personnel, vehicles, and money. The Texas Wildlife Association's Andrew Earl says the feds have been helpful.
USDA has fast-tracked construction of sterile fly facilities, and they're prioritizing research, investing over $100 million in private sector solutions.
In Austin, Chris Fox, News Talk. The parasitic flies got the name screwworms from the way their larvae.
Other news of the morning, unless it rains a lot north of us in Corpus Christi, a lot over the next several months. Up in Corpus Christi, because of their water shortages, they're going to need to cut back significantly on the business side and residential side.
As drought conditions persist in Corpus Christi, city officials plan to declare a level 1 water emergency this September. Tuesday, council members approved a plan to slash water allocations by 25% for water customers, with a final vote anticipated next Tuesday. Those who use more would face water bill surcharges. The water department says without significant rainfall, September will be 180 days away from the point where demand will outpace supply. The imposed water limitations are designed to prevent an even greater water supply emergency.
The following ranking of the U.S. and so many countries, it is in U.S. News and World Report. The U.S. ranks 33rd in the world when it comes to health. Number 1 on issues like culture and economic development and business, but according to the report, 33rd in the world when it comes to health. Again, U.S. News and World Report with that. Speaking of health, daily routines may strengthen your circadian rhythm. You know when your body says, shut down, and then on its own, it's used to waking up? This is especially true for folks who are retired. You need to keep busy. You need to have a routine in order to help preserve your circadian rhythm, keep yourself healthy. President Trump signaling a desire to do more business with China. He just finished up his meetings with Xi Jinping in Beijing.
Trump shook hands with the Chinese president outside the State Building, later saying he was a great friend and leader.
We're going to have a fantastic future together. Such respect for China, the job you've done. You're a great leader. I say it to everybody. You're a great leader.
Trump went on to highlight the size of the group he brought with him, which included high-profile tech bosses such as Tesla CEO Elon Musk and Apple CEO Tim Cook. Trump's visit to China comes as the war in Iran continues, and that's significant because China is Iran's biggest trading partner. That close strategic relationship is expected to result in some pointed discussions between Trump and Xi. I'm Tammy Trujillo.
The Sergio Show on News Talk 710 KURV. I am on the road today with the governor's office, the governor's Small Business Economic Summit. They will be here at the event center till 2 p.m. We're doing our broadcast till 11, and looking forward to catching up to speed with Joaquin Spammer and RioPlex, the economic development effort on the private sector. We've had a lot of great news of late, and we'll do that at 10 o'clock this morning. The Sergio Show on News Talk 710 KURV, made possible this hour by Chamberlain Roofing and Waterproofing.
Your winning partner is News Talk 710 KURV. We deliver real results with a powerful mix of radio, social media, promotions, and live endorsements from the Rio Grande Valley's most trusted influencers and on-air personalities. Your brand will be heard, seen, and connected everywhere. Our expert multimedia marketing team will build a strategy to make this your best summer yet. Call 956-992-8895 or visit radiounited.com and team up with News Talk 710 KURV for winning results this summer.
For over a century, one name has stood for quality, safety, and service in the commercial roofing and waterproofing industry: Chamberlain Roofing and Waterproofing. While our services have grown, our commitment to safety, ongoing training, customer service, and attention to detail has remained the foundation of our success, ensuring our teams are prepared, our customers are protected, and our projects are delivered with excellence.
From roofing and sheet metal to waterproofing and caulking, leak repair and preventative maintenance, and even full building and parking garage restoration, Chamberlain delivers professional, personalized results every time.
From large-scale roof replacements or quick leak repair, Chamberlain Roofing and Waterproofing provides top-quality installations at a competitive price, all with the spirit of cooperation for our valued clients.
Now serving Rio Grande Valley and throughout Texas, you can count on Chamberlain Roofing and Waterproofing to deliver more. Call 956-655-6178 or visit ChamberlainLTD.com to learn more.
If expanding your footprint is on the agenda this year, consider the strategic advantages of Harlingen, Texas, your gateway to the entire Rio Grande Valley. The Harlingen Economic Development Corporation is ready to support your launch, relocation, or expansion with tailored resources designed to move your business forward. Located in the heart of the valley, Harlingen offers a powerful vantage point for reaching customers and markets across the region. As a designated hub city, it delivers all 4 modes of transportation: road, rail, air, and water, giving companies unmatched logistical flexibility and quick, low-congestion access into Mexico through the Los Indios International Bridge, providing a clear edge for manufacturing and distribution. From renewable energy and aerospace to logistics, healthcare, advanced manufacturing, back office operations, and retail, opportunity is built into the foundation of Harlingen. Explore what's possible at harlingenedc.com. That's harlingenedc.com.
Audio streaming on KURV.com. Powered by South Texas Buick GMC, McAllen Mission.
We're broadcasting the Sergio Show from the Governor's Small Business, the Small Business Economic Summit taking place in Mission. And my next guest drove here quite a distance from, well, he's been bouncing around of late quite a bit. I always enjoy catching up to speed with him on economic development happenings in the area. He went to the education side, career and technology. Dan Silva is with Brownsville CIC, the Community Improvement Corporation now, and the title is Vice President of Entrepreneurship and Innovation at Brownsville CIC. Dan Silva, welcome back to the program. Congratulations on the new gig. You're back in the wheelhouse you need to be in, man. You're a pro at EDC stuff and community development. So
good morning, Sergio. Thank you for having me. Yeah, I feel right at home. Yeah, I'm glad to be back.
All right. So over the past several years, from the partnership to career training, now here back in Brownsville. So tell me about that trek over the past few years.
Yeah, so I spent 18 years here in the city of Mission with the Economic Development Corporation. 3 of those I was the CEO. Then I went on to the RGV partnership. I turned 40 and I had a kind of like, what am I going to do with the rest of my life? Am I going to stay here? And I felt like there's a growth opportunity. So I went to the partnership, learned a lot. Enjoyed working with everybody across the region, really made friends from all 4 counties, and really I feel we did a lot of good for the community. The partnership is continuing to do so. I was given an opportunity to run South Texas VOTEC in the city of Brownsville. I took it as a challenge. I hadn't been in the education world, and I'm really glad that I did. It gave me so much understanding. I looked at it as workforce training, looking at economic development on one side, and then the regional advocacy through the partnership, and then doing boots on the ground workforce training. It gave me a lot of insight as to what the businesses needed, what the school could produce, and I'm still a huge fan. I have a good relationship with them. But moving on to BCIC, there was the position that opened up, and reached out to Corey, had a discussion, and felt that it was a good fit. So I'm glad to be back in. We're doing a lot of entrepreneurship and innovation projects like we did here in Mission, and just a continuation.
Yeah. And what a time to be in Brownsville right now with everything that's happening right now. Dan Silva is now with the Brownsville Community Improvement Corporation, one of the economic development arms for our city of Brownsville. You were mentioning like you're trying to figure out, okay, what direction do I take in life? Most people, most men, when they hit a midlife crisis at 40, they'll go buy like a Harley or something. You went to the education side, and you just mentioned some of the things that you picked up in training folks for some of the jobs and industry in the area. But boy, that is changing really fast and getting more technical in nature as well. So you bring that knowledge now.
Yeah, it really is. And so when I was given the opportunity, I looked at Brownsville is blowing up. Brownsville for the next 30 years is just, I'm seeing this having an industrial revolution with everything that's happening at the port, with the industrial park that the city of Brownsville is building, with all of the community improvement projects that they have. It was an opportunity through the college to be able to get involved in that community. And what I saw was with all the companies that were coming to Brownsville, they really needed technical training. They needed individuals who could do all of the HVAC, all of the welding, all of the construction projects. And I'm I'm definitely an advocate of education all across the board, and I think that there's segmentation for everything. But Brownsville is in the building blocks on some of the industrial activity that I think creating that workforce for them. I mean, we're looking at the port. They're going to need over 15,000 employees over the next 10 years. Like those employees need to come from somewhere. We want for them to come from the Rio Grande Valley.
The title that you hold at the Brownsville CIC, somewhat familiar, all these years in talking with him. I know that, for example, Gilbert over at the economic development arm, recruitment and landing those big jobs, CIC quality of life. But an interesting title that you carry on entrepreneurship and innovation, which to me says that maybe you bring some of that skill set and education to make sure to guide into the area some of the training programs to get these people those jobs that they need.
Definitely. When I saw the opportunity, it was really up my alley, like you mentioned. To be able to bring those things together, on the entrepreneurial side, we're going to hear today, small businesses are the greatest creator of jobs. And so if we can incentivize through education processes, if we can provide opportunities for them to learn how to create small businesses, if we can incorporate technology, we talk about AI all the time, but there's a lot of good aspects to it, and doing it the right way, creating curriculum, creating processes, so that way as the students are looking to bootstrap, or the companies are bootstrapping and looking at how to grow their company, we'll be there to be able to offer a lot of training process for them.
How, if you could, because you're at quite a lofty perch now, you're able to see from 30,000 feet what's taking place and help provide some guidance, especially with the knowledge and education and what workforce can provide, Texas workforce and grants and all those things to get people trained. We have adult high schools, we have Texas A&M, we got Texas Southwest, all those resources that we have on the ground. If you could grease the skids and provide training in X field, what would that be in order to be ready? Because, man, we got lots of, hands-on industry headed this way.
Yeah, that's a tough question, because right now it's a wide gamut. Everything from the tradesman who's boots on the ground, scaffolding, crane operation, just building industrial process, all the way up to the high-end skilled trade, because these companies are going to need plant operators. They're going to need individuals who are versed in technology, versed in computer programming, versed in really just technology. That's probably, it's broad, but it is everything. It's, the computer system.
And those come first.
Yes.
It's the ones who erect the LNGs, erect the buildings, the structures, the desal plants. Those come first. Are the people that are, the hammers are flying. And
right. And so it's the economic wheel. Those come in, they're high investment, high capital projects, which are going to increase the property values. Cities are going to gain more funding from it. They're going to be able to police fire, fill potholes. They're going to be able to do all of the process so that a city is responsible for doing, which is going to bring people to the community. The communities are going to need, the people coming in are going to need jobs in the community. So that's where, so it's a full wheel. So we're working really well with the Greater Brownsville Economic Development Corporation. And I think that Brownsville has a lot of good things going on, but it starts with education. And we started seeing it back when South Texas College started offering the dual enrollment, or, getting dual enrollment. And now we see like you said, the early college high schools. Education is the key, and I think that the Valley is getting it right now.
Speaking of South Texas College and the awesome relationship they have with Texas A&M, like the engineering programs, right? Start your kids through dual enrollment at South Texas College on an engineering program that they could easily pivot to and just go down the street to A&M and continue that engineering program. And on the engineering side, from traditional fuels to, the mechanical stuff, or SpaceX and all the fuel stuff at the port. And now water engineers that we need for desal, that massive plant north of the city.
I forgot the city, but they just hired their first chief water officer. It's down here in the Valley. I read that yesterday.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's obviously a focus on it, but you're right. Giving them, it was basically removing barriers. That's what we were trying to do, trying to get students who are first-generation college students to be able to acclimate to the college process, enjoy it, find a pathway, and then we'd see that it continues. UTRGV made an announcement 2 days ago that they're moving their engineering departments to Brownsville. So it's definitely the right direction. It's definitely, putting together the resources and maximizing their space. But on the technical side, like I said, South Texas Votech, I learned a lot on what are the companies needing and what do the great thing about SVT was that it was a bridge. It was SVT Ancora, which was owned by Lindenwood Education, and Lindenwood provided us the opportunity to take a certificate through a bachelor's, through a master's in construction science. So it was a good bridge.
Dan Silva is now with the Brownsville Community Improvement Corporation, BCIC, and he's in charge of entrepreneurship projects, innovation projects for BCIC at a time when Brownsville and the Valley, but everything is being led by Brownsville right now. Brownsville is leading the charge, is leading the economic expansion that is very aggressive, impressive, and it's not the norm. I keep telling my son, what you see here, real interesting to see everything's happening. Son, you got great opportunities coming up in the near future. Yeah.
There is, we just we had a ribbon cutting for our blueprint lab. So it's a prototype lab. So now startup companies are going to be able to come in with our 3D printers, our CNCs, our laser cutters, and prototype the product that they're trying to sell or they're trying to develop. It's going to be a fantastic opportunity.
Man, you got to tell me a bit more about that one. You just started that?
Yeah, we just had a ribbon cutting last week, finalizing our curriculum and our course offerings for it, but we're going to make it on a membership base. People are going to be able to come in and learn how to use that equipment. We're also working on curriculum with a gentleman for AI incorporation. So we'll be offering once a month courses that individuals can come and learn how Claude works and how ChatGPT works and how they can better their business process.
Through eBridge or what? Where are you running that?
eBridge, yes.
Okay. So you talked about membership. Membership with whom?
So the way that eBridge works in collaboration with UTRGV is that you can get a membership to collaborate. It's a co-working space. And with your membership level, you get access to the building. And with a certain level, you'll get access to the prototyping lab. Like I said, where we have a lot of these advanced pieces of equipment.
If you did the ribbon cutting, that means you already ran it for a few days, right?
No, well,
you did a soft opening, or you're
so
just
that
barely?
was so we're in the process of still finalizing some of the equipment and getting everything together. But we really wanted the public to get excited about what we're going to be offering over the summer, and we're working with the schools and working with our entrepreneurs.
Looking forward to more conversations with you. We wish you the best, continued success, and what an amazing time to be in Brownsville right now. Yeah, congratulations. Dan Silva, he's with the Brownsville Community Improvement Corporation. This is the Sergio Show on News Talk 710 KURV. And today we're broadcasting from the real beautiful Mission Event Center, part of the Governor Greg Abbott's Small Business Summit.
History is unfolding, and you're listening to it on News Talk 710 KURV, Edinburgh, McAllen, Harlingen, Brownsville. For the latest news, weather, and breaking news, and crystal clear digital audio using your Alexa. Step 1, say, Alexa, enable 710 KURV skill. Step 2, just say, Alexa, play 710 KURV. Step 3, listen to News Talk 710 KURV. Whether you're on your laptop or desktop, when it comes to the news, you'll be on top of it with top and bottom of the hour news on News Talk 710 KURV. For the latest updates on local, state, and world news, log on to KURV.com and click on the Listen Live tab, or download our Radio Parami app and bring us along wherever you go to listen in crystal clear digital audio, keeping you updated throughout your day and night, on air and online. News Talk 710 KURV and KURV.com.
Cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-983-2077 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-983-2077. That's 800-983-2077. What do you have to lose? Call 800-983-2077. Again, 800-983-2077.
Well, right before President Trump left for China, he posted on Truth Social that Cuba is a failed country and is asking for help, adding, "We will talk," as anger grows there over worsening fuel shortages.
Swarms of people on the streets of Havana. upset and frustrated over living conditions, including the city's worst rolling blackouts in decades, spurred by the U.S. blockade that has choked the communist island's fuel supply. Crowds blocking roads and burning piles of rubbish. One Havana resident said his neighborhood of Playa went for more than 40 hours without electricity. A woman in Mariano said she slept on her doorstep for days, forced out of her home by the heat. This is considered one of the largest single-night demonstrations in Havana since the energy crisis took hold. CJ Papa, Fox News.
Fuel here costs a lot more than $1.50 a gallon since the Iran conflict started, and that has slowed down American shopping. Sales gained last month, but not as much as March.
Retail sales rose 0.5%, up 0.7%, excluding auto sales, and up 4.9% for the year. Spending jumped the month before in March, up 1.6%, as Americans paid more for gasoline.
Fox's Ginny Casola. The morning after South Carolina's Supreme Court threw out Alex Murdaugh's conviction and life sentence in the killings of his wife and son in 2021, citing a court clerk's misconduct talking to the jury. Murdaugh's lawyer, Jim Griffin, tells Fox,
I can tell you he is very relieved that he has gotten the label of convicted murderer of his wife and son off of him. And we plan to keep it off of him.
But South Carolina Attorney General Alan Wilson also tells Fox they plan to retry him. And
I want people to understand that our office secured convictions on financial crimes that will keep Alex Murdaugh in prison for several more decades. So he's not going anywhere.
On Wall Street, the Dow's up almost 400 points. The Nasdaq's gaining 200. I'm Dave Anthony. This is Fox News.
Eggland's Best, the only eggs with more fresh and delicious taste, plus superior nutrition. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
Your 710 KURV AccuWeather forecast, partly sunny, breezy, and hot this afternoon. Highs in the 90s to near triple digits. South-southeast winds at 8 to 16 miles an hour. Mainly clear and warm tonight. Lows only into the mid-70s, but those south-southeast winds still at 10 to 20 miles an hour. Breezy for us Friday, variably cloudy. Highs in the low to mid-90s. Breezy Saturday with more clouds than sun. Highs again in the low to mid-90s. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Jason Caterina on the Valley's official weather station, 710 KURV.
Welcome home. Welcome to Edinburgh, a city where quality of life meets opportunity. Experience vibrant festivals, sports, and community events, and share in the pride as UTRGV Division I football brings fans and spirit to the valley. Here, you enjoy the perfect balance. Big city amenities, combined with small town warmth, with excellent schools, a safe community, and plenty of ways to explore and unwind. Edinburgh is a city to call home. Pursue your passions and truly thrive. Discover the quality of life that makes Edinburgh special at edinburghedc.com.
Saving you money, I'm Hillary Barsky. Saving a lot of dough might seem like a tough thing to accomplish, but according to GoBankingRates.com, if you follow some steps, you could save up to $10,000 in 3 months. In order to do so, you need to set a goal and a budget. It's also a good idea to find the right savings account to stash your cash and pay down your debt. You can either try the snowball debt method, which focuses on paying off your smallest debts first, or the avalanche method, which focuses on paying off your debts in order of the highest interest rate to the lowest. Next, evaluate and limit spending and determine where you can shave unnecessary expenses. Also, try increasing income streams by picking up odd jobs or side hustle. And it may be time to reevaluate some of your lifestyle choices, even if that means temporarily sacrificing your creature comforts. If you try combining some aspects of your financial situation, you might be surprised how quickly you can increase your savings. Saving you money, Hillary Barsky, Fox News.
Broadcasting from the Valley's commercial and fleet headquarters studio at PayneAutoGroup.com. You're listening to News Talk 710 KURV. From the Radio United Broadcast Center, this is the Sergio Show. Talking about the news headlines and topics that affect you. And now, the Sergio Show with Sergio Sanchez.
From the land of liberty and opportunity and prosperity, because of all the jobs that are coming to the area, all the industries that are coming to Texas, coming to South Texas. This is the Sergio Show on News Talk 710 KURV, hour 2 of the program. We're broadcasting from the Mission Event Center, and big thank you to the folks who make it possible for us to be here. Rioplex, the economic development, Rioplex industry recruitment effort. Private sector has been working now for about a year and a half. I guess we're getting close to that year and a half. Joaquin Spamer, Mario Reina, and about 24 ambassadors plus, working really hard at the speed of business, trying to recruit more industry to this area that is very popular, in large part because Texas is open for business. Texas is number one in business. We have over-regulated, over-taxed, just door-nail dumb California. Bunch of communists and socialists in California, they're eating the hand. They're eating the golden goose. And, well, we got industry that is running from California to Texas and other places, but Texas has been, what is that? The Governor's Cup, right? Texas winning again as far as best place for industry to set up. And we're benefiting from that. And for us, it's an honor to be here with the Governor's the Small Business Economic Summit. They'll be here till 2 p.m. We'll be joining the lunch here in a little bit. Big thank you again to Rioplex for having us here today. Rioplex, the economic development effort in the private sector. Big thank you to the Mission Economic Development Office as well. There's several things that are on the radar for us. China and trade with China. I think the markets are very happy, as you can hear on the top of the hour reports from Fox. Yeah, the markets are up. The economic news is positive for them. Looks like there might be more trade with China. As Marco Rubio said, the agreement between the U.S. and China to keep the Strait of Hormuz open, and it's more of an issue for China than it is for us, because China gets a big portion of their petrol, the big portion of their fuel from the Arab states. All that fuel from Iran flowing through the Strait of Hormuz. The Chinese today, with President Trump, Xi Jinping and President Trump, that's one of the big headlines. They agreed the Strait of Hormuz must be open, must remain open. Well, I would hope that maybe the Chinese can send a few of their craft, a few naval ships to help escort. That remains to be seen. The Chinese have opened the markets to U.S. beef again after Lord knows how many hundreds of companies, beef producers in the U.S. They lost their permit a year ago. It was March last year when they lost their permits. That market has been opened up. That's a really nice economic note for today. And the prospect of a closer business relationship, like I mentioned, Marco Rubio said, if there is an economic slowdown in the world, if there is a chronic problem with inflation, with lack of spending, with lack of production, there will be less money in Europe, there'll be less money in Asia, there'll be less money in the U.S. to buy Chinese stuff, Chinese goods. With from the dollar stores to electronics, everything else that the Chinese are churning out. I suspect that the issue of patents and technology that has been stolen and is being produced and pirated in China, I suspect that didn't come up because I didn't see it in any of the write-ups, any of the headlines. But China's churning out stuff. They need customers. They need us. And if it's too expensive for us to buy stuff and it's too expensive for our smaller neighbors as far as GDP in Europe to buy stuff, yeah, that's less business for China. So, yeah, that's why the Strait of Hormuz needs to stay open. They need to do their part to make sure that the fuel flows from Iran to China to Asia as well. Keep that business open. So we got beef from the U.S. headed to China pretty soon. They mentioned it's opening up. I don't know if that's going to happen sometime soon. Which begs the question, as in the pile of stuff we have here today, the price of beef is expensive. The barbecue for the Memorial Day weekend is going to be expensive as well. So does that mean that some of these producers who do not have excess inventory, right, the herds are at a 75-year low? I mean, I know that's good news, that it's more business, but what are you going to sell them if you don't have the herds? What beef cut are we sending overseas, refrigerated, almost at freezing? What are we going to sell to the Chinese if we don't have enough to feed everybody around here? That's the price of beef is so high. So yeah, there's some of the contradictions in the headlines today. This is the Sergio Show on Newstalk 710 KURV. We're broadcasting from the Convention Center in Mission, Texas. Freddie, let's go pay some bills real quick. I'll come back with a conversation I want to feature again. It is Dan Silva, this time on video. We get to play on video on the live broadcast that we are on X Live. We're on Facebook Live. We're on YouTube Live as well. Later on, producer Joe. It's because it's Joe that does this, I think, for the most part. He chops everything up, puts it on LinkedIn as well. So join us on the social media sites. That's the whole idea. That's the reason we're out in the community more often, because of the steroids that we're on because of social media. It's Newstalk 710 KURV. We're the Governor's Small Business Summit in Mission, Texas. Big thank you for this remote broadcast to Rioplex Economic Development, Rioplex Industry Recruitment. Big thank you to the Mission Economic Development Office as well. This hour of the Sergio Show every day is made possible by South Texas Buick GMC and Lone Star National Bank. 710 KURV, the pulse of Valley Business, live this Thursday during the Sergio Show, 9 to 11 a.m. from the Mission Event Center, the Governor's Small Business Summit. We will hear from our Mission Economic Development Office and Rioplex Industry Recruitment. The event providing a variety of sessions with key insights on critical business topics for small businesses in our region. Broadcast made possible by the Mission Economic Development Corporation and Rioplex Industry Recruitment.
It's the Dealer of the Year celebration, 6 years in a row at South Texas Buick GMC. We're celebrating big. Drive home a powerful GMC Sierra SLE for only $99 a month, or take home the stylish and versatile Buick Encore GX for just $199 a month. This celebration is for a limited time only. Visit SouthTexasGMC.com or call 661-5000 off Sherry Road between McAllen and Mission. 6 years being the best. South Texas Buick GMC, not the biggest, just the best.
You've probably heard all those ads for life insurance. Just a few dollars a day, apply online in minutes, no medical exam. Simple, easy, and cheap, right? Now you're thinking, maybe I should get a quote. Well, smart thinking. Everyone should have life insurance. But here's what they don't tell you. Those few dollars a day rates, they're for young people in perfect health. That's why everyone calls Big Lou the 50 to 60-year-old not-so-perfect candidate, like you. You take prescription meds, and you're overweight. Winner, winner, fried chicken dinner. Well, Big Lou works with life insurance companies that want people like you, with no surprises after you apply. In fact, if you're a 50-year-old guy with a few health glitches, Lou could probably find you $1 million of term life coverage for about $200 a month. So, yeah, you need life insurance. But unless you're young and healthy, you gotta call Big Lou, because he's like you, older, heavier, and on meds, too. Get a quote right now at 800-511-3535, 800-511-3535, or biglou.com.
News, weather, your information station. This is News Talk 710 KURV.
Economic status report. Our city of Harlingen, we're just a few days removed from our mayor doing the State of the City address. And now we bring in Orlando Campos. He's the chief at economic development for our city of Harlingen. Orly, let me start with a story I've been sitting on for a few days now. The industrial park that you're developing, describe it for me. What is it, like 70 acres or so? And do you have tenants for it? All those things. Like, what's going on with the industrial park for Harlingen? Is it like the second one, third one? What do you have in Harlingen right now?
Well, let's see. Our newest industrial park, which is located just off of Interstate 69E between Primera Road and Roosevelt. So we have about 74 acres of undeveloped land that we are converting into an industrial park. About a year and a half ago, we were given a grant from the Economic Development Administration for the construction of a detention pond. And so we're nearing completion of that. And the next phase will be to actually work on the interior infrastructure. So within the next few weeks, we're going to start on the actual utilities and roadways within the industrial park. There has been some interest in that location. Obviously, many companies won't take it serious until they actually see movement of the infrastructure. And so we hope to start doing that in the next few weeks. And we're very optimistic that we'll be seeing quite a bit more interest, and then we'll be able to attract new tenants. Given its location, it's ideal for companies in logistics. It's right off the freeway, and there's a direct access from the freeway into the industrial park.
All the wiring necessary for Wi-Fi and
Exactly.
electricity and the two. You had mentioned a little bit of water, the detention pond for water to prevent flooding. How about you quadruple the size of that sucker, and that way you can tell a data center, hey, there's the water. Cool off with that. How about that, Orly? Huh?
Yeah.
Huh?
No, but one thing that we did do is we didn't just build a detention pond. There's a single family neighborhood right next door. So we built the detention pond to buffer the industrial park and that single family home. And we converted the detention pond and added a walking trail around the detention pond, and then added a few basketball courts that the city will be incorporating as part of their park systems, and a play area as well, and to serve as an amenity for the neighborhood next door. We definitely wanted to be good neighbors.
Yeah, it shows your bias in sports. People don't know this, but Orlando Campos Orly he plays a mean 3-on-3 basketball. It could have been pickleball. It could have been tennis. No, he goes for the basketball course. Attaboy. All right. A lot of construction in the area. You were telling me off air, like hundreds of homes and apartment units. Man, that's when you say hundreds. In my opinion, Orly, that's just like scratching the surface for the demand of the tens of thousands of jobs that are in the area now. Right next door at the port, they got to sleep somewhere. So, especially on the apartment side, I would imagine apartment construction would be crazy right now. So, give me an update on construction for.
Sure. Well, we definitely have a lot of construction that's happening right now. In 2025, we had 300 new single-family homes that were built, and in addition to that, we had 200 new apartments and duplexes that were added here in the community. Right now, you drive around the city and you still see a lot more construction happening. And it's basically more people are choosing to live in Harlingen, given its location. We have certainly benefited by the tremendous growth that's happening throughout the county itself. A lot of people are moving in to take advantage of some of these opportunities that are now being developed here.
The industrial park, let me go back to that. All the wiring, Wi-Fi, and the water. By when will all the infrastructure be done? By the end of the year or what?
We're targeting to complete all of the infrastructure before the end of this year.
Okay. And you have people knocking at your door to be tenants at this place?
We have a few prospects that are looking at the area. We certainly invite anyone that wants to get more information to contact us, and we'd be more than happy to share that information.
I need to ask you, Orly, because we've talked about this before, and it's top of mind, and people are thinking data center. We're a candidate for a data center. If it were to happen, where might that be in Harlem?
Sure. I think that one thing that I should probably make clear is that a lot of people think that we're actively recruiting data centers, and so that is not the fact. I think that there are companies that look at our area, and by the time they contact us, they've already done their due diligence and are eyeing certain locations. The city itself, within the boundaries of Harlingen, we don't have the amount of land that is required for some of these developments, so they're forced to look outside of the area in areas that are unincorporated by the city, in the areas that are considered county properties. So the areas that have quite a bit of properties that are undeveloped, that are sort of seen as industrial light manufacturing operations. There are over 5,000 undeveloped acres that are sandwiched between Valley International Airport as well as the Port of Harlingen, that unfortunately are located outside of the city limits. This basically means that obviously there are no incentives on the table, and so they just contact us and let us know, hey, we're looking at your area, and that's about it. I think that all the permitting and process and things like that will be done at the state and county level.
Yeah, which would be a benefit to the county in the event that something like that would happen as far as tax revenue for a multi-billion-dollar project in the area.
Absolutely.
Job creation as well. And because people on social media are apoplectic, they're nuts and ignorant. I'll just say it as it is. And from my point of view, the Chicken Little types, I think it's the end of the world because of water and energy resources. President Trump made it very clear for big tech that they need to provide their own energy, and they will, and they can. And recently we had a market-driven decision, a market-driven solution that is probably 5 years away. It's that desalination plant, South Padre. And industry more than likely will be the first big customer. Anybody from like Elon Musk and everything that he needs for the rockets to other industry, and maybe find a collaboration with some of the cities that would filter some of that water into their systems as well. But that big splash, 50 million gallons a day to $100 million gallon a day desal plant on the northern end of South Padre Island, on the just north of the city of South Padre Island, provides a potential solution for some of the resources that industry needs, from the port to maybe a data center, and yes, rockets and things like that. Just want to get your thoughts on this developing project that they say they're committed and they're coming. It's going to happen. It's going to be up and running probably like in 5 years.
Well, I mean, whether we like it or not, the entire region is growing. A lot of the focus used to be on the Texas Triangle, and so we're now the next growing frontier in the state of Texas. So with that growth, obviously, comes the need for additional infrastructure, especially water. And so, unfortunately, we can't depend on the Rio Grande completely to meet all the demands that are being created here in the area. So I'm glad to see that there are other investments coming online that will hopefully provide additional support for the growth that's coming here to the valley. We're not just talking about manufacturing, but we're actually also talking about population growth as well.
I remember in one of the previous conversations you had some interesting projects. You had given me a dollar figure. What do you have right now in the pipeline that might be coming to the air, like in a dollar figure? How big?
Right now we're managing about 10 projects, manufacturing projects, companies that are kicking the tires, that have informed us that Harlingen is on their short list. So that would represent about a $700 million plus investment that could possibly come to the community and generate a little over 1,000 jobs for the city.
Good. Aerotropolis and the Port of Harlingen. Anything you want to mention that's happening there of interest on recruitment, expansion, all those things?
Yeah, well, some of the, I'd say 90% of the prospects that we're working with are looking at those areas. And so these are manufacturing companies representing diverse number of industries, new jobs that are coming to the community that will help open more employment opportunities for local residents.
A feather of the cap that would complement the recent conversation we had with Dr. Guy Bailey, president of UTRGV. Harlingen is home to the podiatric medicine and college, right? The university, medical school for them, the podiatric medical school. And they just graduated their first batch. And that likely can continue to go, knowing the demand and how rare something like that is.
Absolutely.
On the medical side. Recap real quick. Some of what the mayor had mentioned as far as new arrivals, new companies, and the impact. So I know she mentioned this in the State of the City.
Yeah, when it comes down to economic development, we take a holistic approach in terms of not just marketing the city to large industries, but we also work quite a bit with companies that are already here, simply because we know that 80% of new jobs are created by companies that are already here within the community. We have Prime Healthcare, which has been a corporate resident of Harlingen for several years. They are now going to be building a brand new 25,000 square foot office complex to house over 200 jobs. This represents a $5+ million investment, and is testament that they're planning to be here for the long run. In addition to that, we've got Tropical Texas Behavioral Health, which will be making a $20 million investment here in the community for a new complex. And so we're seeing our health sector grow quite a bit here in Harlingen. But in addition to that, over the last 3 years, we've had 725 new business permits issued. And so we focus quite a bit on our small businesses, on our entrepreneurs to help eliminate barriers and help provide support for their growth here. So we're seeing quite a bit of activity in the business community that represents more opportunities for local residents.
Some of the numbers you gave me off air, you said 8% growth in taxable sales, like sales growth, 8%, right? So far this year? That's what
sales tax revenue that is coming back to the city. We've seen 8+% growth so far this fiscal year, which is 8% higher than what we were seeing at the same period last year. This represents over $1.8 billion in taxable goods that are being sold within the community.
Half of that's probably my 13-year-old buying all the stuff over at Five Below that you have there off the freeway. And interesting, you're approaching $2 billion in sales for the year.
Yes.
Excellent.
And so year after year, we've seen growth. And so at this pace, we'll be able to surpass that amount within the next few years.
All right. Thank you, Orly. We wish you the best. Orlando Campos, and congratulations to Mayor Norma Sepulveda again for her State of the City address a few days back. And we'll keep in touch, Orly. Let me know if you got any seminars or funding initiatives, things like that you have at the EDC office.
Yeah,
that's coming up soon. I'll put it on the calendar.
Absolutely.
All right, brother. Orlando Campos is the Director of Harlingen Economic Development. Be well.
Every year, nearly 8,000 pets come through the doors of Palm Valley Animal Society. Animals who need safety, care, and a second chance. At PVAS, we're committed to giving every dog and cat the compassion they deserve, from life-saving medical care to loving new homes. But we can't do it alone. Your support helps us protect the most vulnerable animals in the Rio Grande Valley and build a more humane community for all. Visit pvastx.org or our social media to adopt, donate, or get involved today. Together, we save lives.
Make the call today or text message. Good folks at Chamberlain Roofing and Waterproofing. Yeah, look at that. It's in the name. Waterproofing. Your business, making sure that commercial roofing system of yours doesn't send some water down at you or your clients or your expensive equipment. Chamberlain has almost 130 years of experience. I know this through a couple of conversations I've had. We had some podcast conversations. They posted those on KURV.com. First, on how they cross-train everybody. Everybody knows at Chamberlain, they all know the different systems. They'll make sure everybody gets cross-trained. They're experts in all these different systems. And safety is the culture. It's the obsession, the culture, safety among everybody. Make sure that you are protected as well. As the good folks said, go up to your commercial roofing system for free. Yeah, these top experts, the top experts in commercial roofing in this entire region will visit your sites, your commercial sites, your warehouses free. Go check, see, give you an expert report on the condition of your commercial roof. I think that's an awesome value that way you know what to do in near future. Cutting edge, state-of-the-art installation, roof repair, installation technology, advanced waterproofing solutions. Chamberlain Roofing, waterproofing, 956-655-6178.
You go, Dad. At LSNB, we build strong foundations on values that matter.
And business practices you can rely on.
Investing in education.
Volunteering in the communities we serve.
And fueling our region's economy.
For over 40 years.
Our mission has been supporting area businesses.
We are LSNB.
Donating more money to more causes than all other area banks combined.
Here, in a place we call home. We are LSNB.
The Valley's Bank.
710 KURV, the pulse of Valley business, live this Thursday during the Sergio Show, 9 to 11 a.m. from the Mission Event Center, the Governor's Small Business Summit. We will hear from our Mission Economic Development Office and Rioplex Industry Recruitment. The event providing a variety of sessions with key insights on critical business topics for small businesses in our region. Broadcast made possible by the Mission Economic Development Corporation and Rioplex Industry Recruitment.
I'm Chad Pergram with the Speaker's Lobby.
There's concern that campaign staffers may be placing wagers on insider information about a race, such as how much a candidate may be up or down in an unreleased poll. The aide then places a wager on the poll results. The poll reflects what the staffer knew, but the staffer stands to make money because they placed the bet on essentially what is insider information. Prediction markets are new financial exchanges. People place bets each week on future real-world events, ranging from sports to culture and elections. Some question the morality of turning insider information into a lucrative payday, yet the legality is unresolved. It's believed that this kind of election betting is violating rules set forth by the Commodity Futures Trading Commission. The Commodity Exchange Act prohibits people from using non-public information for economic gain. But so far, this kind of wagering is the Wild West, and it's largely an unregulated space. In recent weeks, the White House warned staff against using prediction markets, and the Senate approved a ban too. With the Speaker's Lobby, Chad Pergram, Fox News.
Free battery testing, free battery charging, and replacement batteries that fit your needs. That's what makes AutoZone America's #1 battery destination. Get in the zone. AutoZone.
Fox News, I'm Therese Crowley. Extremely productive talks and a fantastic day with a banquet at China's Great Hall of the People. President Trump describes his summit with China's President Xi to Fox's Hannity. Iran came up.
He did offer, he said, if I could be of any help at all, I would like to be of help. Because,
he did say that.
Yeah, he did say that. And look, anybody that buys that much oil has obviously got some kind of a relationship with him.
And China will buy American oil and gas, soybeans, Boeing jets, and NVIDIA chips. Fairfax, Virginia's prosecutor Paul Descano called to Capitol Hill to answer for sweetheart deals to criminal migrants.
For a long time now, ICE has said that Fairfax County, Virginia is one of the most egregious sanctuary jurisdictions they have to deal with anywhere in the entire country. A handful of illegal aliens have already been arrested for multiple murders so far this year in Fairfax County. That includes
Fox's Bill Malosian. America's listening to Fox News.
Your 710 KURB AccuWeather forecast. Partly sunny, breezy this afternoon. Highs in the mid and upper 90s. Mainly clear and warm tonight. Still quite breezy. Lows into the mid 70s. For Friday, breezy, variably cloudy. Highs in the low to mid 90s. Saturday, breezy with more clouds than sun. Highs in the low to mid 90s again. Lots of clouds for Sunday. Breezy and humid. Highs in the low to mid 90s. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Jason Caterina on the Valley's official weather station, 710 KURB.
Broadcasting from the Valley's commercial and fleet headquarters studio at PayneAutoGroup.com. You're listening to News Talk 710 KURV.
The time is 10:35. The Sergio Show on News Talk 710 KURV. Hour 2 of the program. We're on the road. We're broadcasting at Governor Greg Abbott's Small Business Summit, this time in Mission, Texas. Now, this is a year-long endeavor. They bounce around Texas from city to city. As I mentioned last hour, Laredo's coming up early June. And then Houston, Metro Houston, Pasadena in late June. I said Waco, and I saw they're all over the state, just jumping all over the place, trying to provide useful, necessary, actionable information and training for small business owners in the area, have a chance to network as well. So it's a terrific gathering take place. Now, we're broadcasting today. Well, first of all, a big thank you to folks who make the Sergio Show possible every day at this time, every weekday. Big thank you to Lone Star National Bank, South Texas Buick GMC. But today, as I mentioned last hour, the first hour of the program, we're here because, for example, Techlo, Mr. Techno himself, he is one of our supporters. And the reason we're broadcasting here is the Mission Economic Development Office, and also one of our supporters. And we're so grateful for his support and vision and the massive push to bring more industry to South Texas, Rioplex, the industrial recruitment effort in the private sector, trying to recruit business at the speed of business. And I welcome to the program Joaquin Spammer from CIL Capital, and yes, the visionary behind Rioplex. Good to see you again, sir.
Hello, Sergio. How are you? Thank you for having me.
Well, I tell you what, reflect on the importance on this. I know, you're a fan of
you know what? We have the best governor we could wish for. He's all over the place. He's pushing business. He's the best governor that we have had here in South Texas, in the Valley, in Rioplex. I love the guy, and he's always pushing for business to grow. He's looking at all sizes of business. He's looking into small business, large business, multinational businesses. and he's great. And I'm glad he's doing all these.
What is it now? Like a decade plus of what do they call it? The Governor's Cup, where the state of Texas is deemed like the number one state for job creation, state of Texas, absorbing all the industry coming out, running for communist places like California. Other places like that, overregulated. But yeah, Texas is very business friendly, and small business would be the underpinnings, the foundations to provide a pipeline of support for the major tier one industry that we now see coming to the area. And for those of you who are not familiar with the impressive news of late, yeah, we hear a lot from Brownsville, we hear a lot from the port, we hear a lot from SpaceX, but in McAllen, yeah, big news. And I know you've been a part of this. They're landing at your campus. Valeo, this French manufacturer that is producing like top, most advanced electronics and sensors and TVs, all the stuff that go into General Motors vehicles. We're at phase one. And describe how big that project is in dollar figures and in job creation. This Valeo manufacturer that landed at your campus here in south of the freeway.
Yeah, Sergio. Well, Valeo is 225 million in phase one. I want to stress this phase one. There is a phase two. And phase two, you might hear some big news from the folks at McAllen EDC. I want for them to give you the news, but there is something going on in phase two that is going to increase the footprint to about $400 million in between phase one and phase two. That's great. That's
Which
huge.
begs the question, amigo. Like, how many phases are we looking at potentially?
Let's hope there is more than two.
Okay. But solid workings and developments on maybe taking it to the next level. That's wonderful. Wonderful to hear. Okay.
No, and I don't know if you have driven by the location.
No, I have not been south Sherry? Is it right?
No, it's South Ware Road.
South Ware, pardon. Yeah, South Ware. Yeah.
But the building is up.
Wow. Already?
It's 60 days. 60 days, and we have all the tilt-top panels up. And right now, we're working on the structure. It should be finished within the next 2 weeks. So you don't have a building that is the shell building. It's going to be 60% completed before 90 days. So we're going very fast. We're going at the speed of business, Sergio.
That's why, man, last year, it's a year plus. That was April last year. We were so blessed that Joaquin Spammer and company, they took us to Houston. Mente, let's go.
Let's go.
Let's bring the whole team. We're going to do nothing but interviews all day long. Thank God for that. And that was quite the opening of the Rioplex idea of recruiting business at the speed of business. Get the private sector energized to work with the EDC offices like Teklo and Gilbert and Ralphie Boy, everybody else. Yeah, let's get her done. Right, yeah, lock arms together because we have so much to offer in South Texas.
Let me mention something, Sergio. I'm glad. I'm very glad you brought it up. You have the EDCs doing a great job. You have Teklo, Raudel, you have Rafi Boy, you have Steve, everyone, and they're bringing business, and they're all over the place. You've seen it the past year. I mean, these guys are moving at the speed of business, but there is a point where once they have the company willing to work at the city, now they need the private sector. They need the developers, the engineers, the architects in order to put the buildings together. So it is the perfect combination, and I'm not going to get tired of saying it. It's a perfect combination of public and private. You have the EDC and the public sector pushing the region, and then you have the private sector, Rioplex, with a team of business people willing to invest, take the risk, put the buildings together in order for those companies that are being brought by the EDCs to actually land here in the region.
No one needs extensive convincing of projects that must come to the area. Everybody rowing in the same direction. And I know that at Rioplex, you've developed a team of at least 24 ambassadors, which are folks who have their own businesses and come from capital. They come from land ownership. They come from various manufacturing. The folks who have the wherewithal to go out and recruit, go with the Ralph Garcia, Ralphie Boy, go with the Steve Valdez, go with Gilbert over at Brownsville, go out there and sell at major manufacturing and industry events that take place in Europe and other places. Where is the focus right now, would you say?
This month, let me talk about what we're doing this month.
Okay.
We just yesterday, we had a big meeting with major investors in the city of Tampico, in Altamira. We had a great meeting between Rioplex and all the bigger players in South Tamaulipas. It went great. They love Rioplex. They see the perfect combination between Rioplex and South Tamaulipas. I think something is going to develop with these guys. The same group of people came last week. The city of McAllen showed them around. It was great. And about 6 months ago, they came also to the region. So you have a group of investors that for the third time they're looking into the region. I think that something is going to develop right there. Excellent. And second, I'm a board member of the American Chamber of Commerce. Rioplex was invited to participate in what is called the North American Week. So we're going to have 4 venues. One is in Mexico City, one is in Hermosillo, Guadalajara, and Monterrey. And Rioplex is going to showcase the region to the biggest and the best companies that are affiliated to the American Chamber of Commerce. And as you know, it's probably one of the most influential organizations in Mexico. So we're going to showcase in the 4 biggest areas Rioplex. So that's great.
You got to tell me the team that you're thinking of sending out there. I mean, you're going, right? You're doing the pressing of the flesh.
I cannot go to all of them, but we have a team between members and ambassadors that are going to the 4 locations. So we're going to have a very important presence in the 4 venues.
Joaquin Spalmer, he's the visionary of Rioplex Economic Development, Rioplex Industry Recruitment. That's a private sector getting very closely involved with the economic development entities that represent South Texas and Northern Mexico for the sole purpose of, at the speed of business, recruiting more industry to South Texas. Like we need some help. Like we have some pretty impressive people coming to town. We're the land of Elon Musk, right? It's like, oh, you know where they're rocking. You know where Elon is launching rockets into space? Yeah, that's us. That's us. Deep South Texas, Northern Mexico. That's gonna make. That's a good conversation starter. With either trade attaches or with the people. For example, you went back there to Southern Tamaulipas to speak with these.
I'm a salesperson, and as a salesperson, we need to have a good story to tell.
That's a good
and
one.
Rioplex has hundreds of good stories to tell. So
they must be tired of you over at Space. Oh yeah, I got another people that investors we'd like to give a tour at the Space. Everybody wants to see this.
Everybody wants to see it. We're about to finish going into what we're doing at the business level. Remember, you helped me with a groundbreaking of the Bronzeville building that I'm doing with my friend and partner Carlos Garcia. We are less than a month shy of finishing the building, 180,000 square feet, and we have had a couple of big companies interested in leasing the place. So that's about to be finished.
And those tenants they're more like the assembly line or manufacturing or distribution or logistics, right? That's what they're manufacturing side. You have, well, okay, let's take a step back. CIL Capital, and of course the different names that are the suffix to CIL. One of them is CIL Fresh. So from far Texas to the Mid-Valley, Weslaco to Brownsville, do a quick review of the square footage of the projects on the CIL side. What we have, what might be coming near future on.
As I told you, Bronzeville is about to be finished, 180,000 square feet. In FAR, we have the Seal Fresh building. That's 150,000 cold storage distribution center. Next to it, we have La Bonanza, Avocados. That's 103,000 square feet cold storage distribution center. Next to it, we have AvoWorks. That's a 60,000 square foot cold storage distribution center. Then we move over to McAllen. And in McAllen, we have, of course, Vallejo. And we have one building for a Mexican investor is 50,000 square feet. We have another building next to it, 60,000 square feet for one of my partners. And then we have a very big company that I'm not I cannot disclose the name, but it's a Fortune 500, a very large manufacturing company moving just across the street from Vallejo. And as soon as they, but you know what? Let's do this. The McAllen DC will give you the names when we're ready.
Yeah.
But that's another big win.
Is that a compliment to Vallejo?
No, it's in the same industry, in the same line of, in the same sector, but it's a different company. And I'm going to hold myself and I'm going to let Liz and Rafi Boy give you the announcement when we're ready to give it.
Yes,
but it's a pretty big building. So in the mix, we have 750,000 square feet being built, and we have about 700,000 square feet in the process, in the pipeline. So this is it is very we're
and that's just CIL.
That's just CIL.
That's just you and your partners and other investors. That's CIL Capital and Fresh and CIL and all the different logistics. That's not including others at the Economic Development Office.
No, we have some great developers here. You have Elio Botello, of course. He has some projects in the making. You have Rodrigo Castillo. He has a couple of buildings in the process. You have Manuel Cantu. He also has a couple of projects. Hugo Martinez with Member Construction. He has some buildings being built and some other in the making. My friend Nicanor Garza is now on board with Hugo Martinez, great guy. You have Carlos Canales also with some buildings. So the mix of developers, I'm just one of them.
Yeah.
From here to Bronzeville is unique. There is a lot of projects in the making. I think that, Sergio, you need to start interviewing some of these guys. I'm just one of many, and I'm just glad to be here, and I'm glad to be doing this in Texas. No?
¿Hablan inglés?
Yes.
Do they have as sexy of a Mexican accent as you do? Like Ricardo Montalban type of accent as you do? Huh?
Terrible,
because if they're not
terrible.
a good interview, see, that's the whole lure of you. People love listening to you and your accent.
My son Patricio keeps making fun of me. He says, you never got rid of the accent.
He's just jealous, man. He's just jealous. He doesn't talk like Papa. Joaquin Spammer, he is the owner, CIL Capital, CIL Fresh. Anything with a CIL in front of it, that's Joaquin Spammer. And just his company alone, again, about 750,000 square footage that we'll be seeing dirt fly on that and projects that are developing and another 750,000 square footage of potential in the pipeline. That's just one company of many that are considering. You rattled off a whole bunch of names. Now, everything that you mentioned, is it mostly projects on this side of the river?
In my case, yes, it's on this side of the river. But on the Mexican side, there is a lot of movement. But you know what? Alfonso Sanchez, he's a member of the board of Rioplex. He can give you a better information on what's happening on the south side of the border. No? Also, René Javier, he's an ambassador of Rioplex. He also has a lot of information on what's happening on the south side. This is great. And I think that could be a great interview with any of those two guys and get a better feel of all the companies that are moving to northern Tamaulipas, the south side of Rioplex.
I'm looking forward to those conversations. Absolutely. They're welcome to come and speak with us. We learn so much every time we speak to the titans of South Texas, Northern Mexico industry. See where the jobs are coming from.
These guys are big, and I'm a small guy. These guys are bigger than me.
Yeah. Well, the evolution of industry, you have witnessed it. Because I know you were a South Texas and Northern Mexico boy. And I remember, just off air, I've talked with Joaquin Spammer about him going to Pan Am University, having deep roots in the area. We've gone from tier 3, tier 1 industry coming to this area that now is going to be like a magnet, bringing in all sorts of support industries as well. We're just getting started. The job creation potential for the areas and the tens of thousands from Brownsville all the way over here. Do you at any time have conversations with people in education? Like we love to speak with Dan King at Region 1, with the university president, Dr. Guy Bailey and Dr. Solis and everybody. But they're key. If we're to absorb all of this, we need to be ready. Do you see that on the education
But
front?
you have two guys leading the two biggest universities here, Guy Bailey and, of course, Ricardo Solis, my good friend. They're way ahead. I mean, they're moving very aggressively. Of course, Ricardo Solis has a background in economic development. He has a great team, all the guys that work with him on a daily basis. I mean, we couldn't do it without them. I mean, we are working on the real place industrial revolution, and education is a very important part of it.
And it could go back all the way back to high school. That's the wonderful thing about it. Because some of these will not require. Now, once they set up shop, yes, and by the way, acknowledgement to Texas A&M from the coastal teaching training facility to the engineering programs at Texas A&M here in South Texas. Those jobs on mechanical engineering, aerospace engineering, all the lug nuts and electronics, and even water engineering. The private, I haven't had a chance to speak with you since. The private sector finding a solution to the water shortage with a massive desal plant north of South Padre.
Let's hope it happens.
And it is. They're committed. They said that's going to happen 5 years from now. They'll be feeding 50 to 100 million gallons daily.
Wow.
For Elon Musk, for the refiner, whoever wants it in the area. That's the private sector.
Yeah.
That's not policymakers. That's the private sector. Finding
Love
solutions to those issues.
Love it. Love it.
Well, what's on the calendar? What's next for you? You got an invitation for more leadership to join you?
Well, honestly, I'm going to say something. What is in the calendar for me? I'm taking off from Calgary to Anchorage with a bunch of friends. We're going to ride our motorcycles for 2 weeks. My friend, I'm going to be gone the first half of June. And I think I deserve and I need the break, if you know what I mean.
Man, you better be posting on social media. I want to see you on that Harley.
We have a lot of fun, and but we like the BMW just better. But
did you get Mama's permission? Did you get your wife's
Yeah,
permission?
yeah,
Okay, is she going with you? Is she going to be a bit?
No. It's a boys trip. It's going to be a lot of fun.
It's great to hear. We wish you continued success, and we hope that the next level, what did you got? Phase 2 becomes a reality soon, and maybe I don't know, get some competitors down here as well. More tier 1 manufacturers.
We had a great meeting yesterday with McAllen city officials and with McAllen EDC with Liz and Ralph, and it's just the perfect, as I told you, private, public, working together, landing projects, making sure that those companies stay here.
Might be unfair to ask you right now, but I know that you probably have a fair idea as the investment in millions of dollars, but you have any idea how many jobs might come as a result for everything that is already committed at the 750,000 square feet?
I haven't made the numbers, but just in Seal Fresh, we have 150 employees. La Bonanza is going to have about 50. I don't know the amount in Bronzeville. About works should be 30, more or less. That's the standard size operation.
And on tier 1 manufacturing with Valeo.
In Valeo, you have 250 plus another 150 once phase 2 is committed.
Big salaries.
Big salaries. And then you have the other company that I cannot disclose. It's about 200 employees. It's manufacturing, so the level should be high.
Does it require special training? That new company that would be across the street?
I believe so. I think part of the process is making sure that they engage with UTRGV, with A&M, and of course with our friends at South Texas College.
And what you mentioned earlier from South Tamaulipas, good conversations, third time visit and luring these folks. Is that manufacturing or is that agriculture? What is that?
These guys are in manufacturing.
Another manufacturing.
What is happening here in Bronzeville is what you see in Altamira. It's a port, a very big port. It's the largest port in territory in Mexico. And these guys have a lot of oil and gas sub-products. It's a very, very big manufacturing industrial hub, heavy industrial. And these guys, they saw what happened in Tampico 30 years ago, and they think that it's going to happen here as well. So that's why they want to link themselves into the growth of Rioplex.
Excellent. So what type of Harley do you have?
No, I have a BMW.
I'm
sorry. Sorry for the Harley guys. I don't spend any time at the shop.
You start speaking German as soon as you board that thing. They drive themselves these days, it seems. Thank you, Mr. Spummer.
No, thank you,
stopping by.
Sergio. I always have fun with you, and we really appreciate what you do for the Rioplex, for the region, for all the cities here. We need more people like you promoting the region.
This is information, as I say on the radio, this information you need to know in the audience. This is what affects your pocketbook, your future, your kids' future. It is economic development in South Texas. It's the real news that makes a difference. Thank you, Mr. Spummer.
Thank you, Sergio.
Joaquin Spummer, CIO Capital. Joaquin Spummer, Rioplex Economic Development. This is the Sergio Show on Newstalk 710 KURV. Dana Lash next on 710 KURV.
Texas Farm Bureau Insurance has protected fellow Texans with auto, home, health, and life insurance since 1952. With more than 260